Follow the script, don't ask why. Same lie, different suit, different time. Left, right, red, blue. If it don't add up, that's on you. Seems sus. We bring the heat. Think. Seems sus. We bring the heat. Think. Lines in the sky, they say it's fine. Turn off your brain, trust the sign. Resist, obey, comply, die. Same old game, new reason why. Screens stay loud, truth stays buried. Breaking news, but the facts get blurry. Seems sus. We bring the heat. Think. Seems sus. We bring the heat. Think.
And just like that, we're back. Again. We haven't been canceled yet. Could happen.
I hope so.
What's going on, buddy?
Oh, things and stuff.
Things and stuff.
Things and stuff.
What type of things and stuff?
I just saw a company is closing for Immigration Day, which I guess a lot of companies are doing that to, I don't know if they're commemorating, saying no to ICE, but it's like, so somebody's going to lose a day of pay because an immigrant's going to lose a day of pay because the company decided they're supporting immigrants. No, I'm Mexican. If you shut down my work for a day because of that, I'm going to be pissed. Sorry.
I didn't know that was a thing, Immigration Day.
They're like, it's basically a protest to ICE. They're going to shut down their work of establishment for that day in protest. Yo, audacious Amber. But as an immigrant, a family of immigrants, and Mexican myself, if you shut down a day and you don't fucking pay me, I'm going to be really mad.
Especially if you had no choice in the matter.
Especially because, times are tough all over.
Well, for anyone listening, if you happen to hear this will be the last time you hear Seems Sus on the Tinfoil Tales stream. So if you're a listener of the audio platform on Tinfoil Tales, you will now have to go and find Seems Sus, its own podcast. So if you listen on Spotify or Apple, you'll have to go and subscribe to Seems Sus. So just look for that, because for some reason we are the only ones named that podcast. So that's something that I can actually be happy about, that no one else was stupid enough to call a show Seems Sus.
Stupid enough.
So there is that.
Thank you, Audacious Amber. She has shared the podcast.
Appreciate it.
She likes it. She came back. This is the third time, I think.
She's one of the mods to the Tinfoil Tales stream channel. So
good job.
Yeah. So this episode will probably be the one that really angers people, but it happens. We are going to talk about selective outrage. And if you don't know what selective outrage is, I will break it down for you in the simple fact that you find things that are conveniently aligned with what you currently believe in and use that as a reason to be angry. Does that make sense?
All the sense in the world if you check your doom scrolling.
So what that means is I support the current event, or I support the current thing, or any type of thing like that, to where someone is upset because they don't agree with something going on in the world. So therefore we have to go ahead and make giant posts about it and complain and share fake information and everything else. And like right before I got on here with you, someone had shared something about how AI is literally taking all of the water, and the World Health Organization has now deemed that there is going to be no more water. That is 100% bullshit. That is not even true.
This is going to be worth something?
It could be like selective hearing. Yes. It's more like stupidity is the truth of the matter.
Right.
But yes, data centers do take water. That is not a lie. But we are not under a water shortage. And when the next, it said we couldn't take showers anymore and people would not be able to have drinks anymore. Like complete made up bullshit. And like thousands of people have shared this. Like a simple research, like would show that that is not inaccurate.
That's too much work.
Yeah. So people just see the first thing that they pop online and just automatically run with it. I almost miss having the stupid fact checkers that used to pop up online when people would share something and would say, this is not really true. Half the time,
I forgot
it,
about those.
yeah, you're glitching again. It wasn't your Google update. So I don't know what the hell goes on with your thing.
And my computer's like old.
I just think it's because you have an Apple.
Probably.
I think you should probably not use Google and have to use Safari. I don't know if Safari is compatible with this. Either way, point being, this whole stigma of everyone automatically believes in the fact that they see everything online, and therefore we have to be angered about what is online, is just misconstrued hatred for something else, usually directed towards an orange person, but that has not really anything to do with what I'm talking about currently. But it all goes back to that. Everything that everyone hates right now revolves around some sort of political ideology or what they believe in. And the same person that could be getting all this hate, the last person could be 100% doing the same exact thing, and it wouldn't have mattered because it's just not that person. So,
yeah.
We had two people instantly click off when I said orange person.
Oh my.
So yeah, that is what we're going to roll with tonight. So again, for anyone listening out there in the podcast world, this will be the last Seems Sus that you hear on Tinfoil Tells. So if you're happy that you don't have to hear this anymore, congratulations. If you're going to miss Seems Sus, then you need to go and follow Seems Sus on either Apple, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts at. It will still be streaming live every Thursday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But yeah. So let's dive into it. I know there were some things that you wanted to talk about, so if you would like to go first, go right ahead.
I'd like to. Actually, it kind of segues to what you're talking about, the selective outrage and the whole outrages. I have a small story to share that I know this really sweet guy. We were talking about something. It's an unrelated, but like he had told me that he's not been the same since the whole Beast era. And I feel like a lot of people have like these mental scars of it, and they carry this anger. And mind you, like whether you're on the fence about what really happened around those times, or if you got poked or not poked, I can't help wondering like how much mental anger and rage and the scarring mentally that people carry constantly and still to this day. And that's why people are so angry to jump the gun about everything. And you got to remember, like, some people didn't deserve like the mental anguish it caused. Like, these are just people that, don't really like make much of a stink about anything. Like this my friend, this guy, I'm not going to mention his name, but like he's one of the nicest people ever. And for him to say that was a shocker because like he's just a good dude. But for him to say like he has not been the same since COVID and about being social and like, and then you got all these other people that just like, they just carry the anger and they just direct it to whatever it is. And then like, and I've probably told you that a lot of these people, if they got nothing to bitch about, they're going to bitch about their lives. Not even bitch, but like, they're just going to I'm going to say complain. They just feel like they're down in the dumps and depressed, and they're probably on some sort of medication just to cover up how much their life sucks. I don't know if it's indirectly because of the Beast era, but I know it's changed a lot of people, and I've seen it myself. And you can't help but feel bad for them, but at the same time, maybe it was just like, I think there was somewhere an article that it was kind of a social test on everyone.
It really was.
Yeah, and if you're not strong enough to make it out of there, then you're just kind of screwed in a way. I mean, you go to therapy, but I feel like a lot of people haven't gone to that. And this is where the outrage is coming from. I think that's just my theory on how that is. And it's just like, it's just not fair. And we're never going to get an answer, or these people never have closure. And it sucks. I don't know.
The outrage came a little before that because the outrage has been consistent throughout history, to be 100% honest.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I mean, yeah, like, if you look at it that way.
But the latest turmoil, I'd say, has been in the last decade. But if you remember correctly, back, I think in the, was it 2010, 2011 era, I think it was, they were camping out in front of Wall Street. Do you remember the Occupy Wall Street movement?
No, that's when I didn't pay attention anymore.
Okay. Well,
you know, or then.
There was a giant movement going on called Occupy Wall Street, and a lot of certain type of people were out there hanging out, protesting Wall Street and the big rich people of, I honestly don't know what they expected to accomplish, because throughout history, and I know this is going to sound shitty to some people, but I really don't care. When has going out there ever really changed the outcome for anyone else? You can go out there and hold up signs. You can do all the stupid things that you want to do. The end of the day, no one gives a shit. Like, it's not going to persuade someone to wake up the next morning and be like, you know what? I probably should stop making billions of dollars because someone out with a sign says I need to stop doing that.
Right.
Like, no one cares. You're not going to change some rich person's different opinion on the fact that you don't agree with what they're doing. They don't care. We're nobody.
Yep.
And that's what it feels like when you see all these other people that are out there angry right now that are doing what they're doing. They have legitimate reasons to want to be out there. So they think they're protecting people. They think they're doing the good fight. Cool. But where does the line get crossed to where the good fight becomes where they're not fighting for good anymore and they're just fighting for the sake of fighting because they just want to fight?
Yeah. Selfishness in a way.
Like, and it's not me trying to belittle anyone that wants to go out there and do any of that stuff. What I'm saying is, like, legitimately, why do people feel the need to go out and do the things that they do? Like, if you are seeing the stuff that goes on right now, and it's conveniently up in the same state where some other turmoils always start. For what the hell goes on in Minnesota? I don't know. It's one of those states I haven't been to, and to be honest, at this point, I just need to drive through it and not even stop because I don't want to stop through it because it just seems to be kind of chaotic half the time. But here's the truth.
Not a lot of soda there.
Well, here's the thing, like 2020, a lot of the stuff started from up in that area. And then now more stuff's going on. This all started to stem after they come across fraud. And all of a sudden now we're going to be people getting got, whatever, by the stormtroopers of death is what they're called, which is kind of stupid. But so this is what's going on. And then conveniently now today, or actually it was yesterday, I believe, the one person has now been sprayed with some sort of liquid, that's very sus to me because the whole thing looked very staged. But the whole thing to me is stupid. And now there's another video floating around where this dude supposedly kicked this vehicle. It looks very AI-ish to me, even like the damage to the vehicles. Like, that dude has like the most hellacious kick I've ever seen because of the that light just shot right off of it.
Steel toe boots, man.
Yeah, I wear steel toes too, but I don't.
Nurses can afford better boots than us, I guess.
Well, he hasn't been a nurse for the last few months. He quit going to work. That's
how much I don't pay attention, I guess. Huh.
I don't really, again, it just depends on where you're looking at.
Right.
Like, it depends on what aisle that you're sitting in, and then you'll see this sort of story or that sort of story. It doesn't even matter. I think it's funny that they've literally taken his picture and remade it into look more of a handsome person, because apparently his actual normal self wasn't good enough for certain people, so they've tried to change him into something where he looks a little bit more presentable.
Oh, that was a weird one too. It was actually on, like, I think New York Post, that whole changing of his face.
Yeah.
Like, wow. New York Post is usually like, it's up and down with them. They're bipolar news.
The media is stupid in general. It doesn't matter where you're getting your sources from. It's all corrupt.
Amber says paid actors too. I'm like, man, I should probably get a new job here.
How do you find these positions? Where does someone become a paid crisis
We gotta
actor?
go. When's the last time you've been on Craigslist? I'm gonna go look. Not right now.
Is Craigslist still a thing?
Yeah, it is. And
if you see someone hiring for wet works, don't apply for it because it's not what you're thinking.
Wet works. Oh,
so
boy.
I've never understood this either. They claim that, like, there's just secret chat groups that go on and they can tell people where to coordinate at and everything else. How do you get involved in these? Like, who's in like the secret groups? Like, hey man, you want to join my secret group of?
I'll ask that guy from that Iced Earth band.
Right. Go out there with your sword and everything.
Oh yeah, he's from Indiana.
I don't watch TV either. All I ever see on television is probably cryptid stuff if I actually turn something on, or it's just noise in the background for my children watching whatever they decide they want to watch.
I don't watch TV because it's the same shit you'd see doom scrolling on Facebook.
Anyone that actually watches live, they can see that you are a fan of Rambo, and I sent you that remake thing that's happening. How do you feel about that?
How do I feel about that? I actually, Stallone's Instagram shared that. It's funny, some of the comments were like, he supports Trump. But I said...
Again, unrelated, but for some reason it has to be brought up.
Yeah, so I said... don't fail. The Rambo fans are depending on you. If the director sees it, whoever.
Here's my thing. How miserable of a person do you have to be if your entire life revolves around political system?
Every news feed.
Like,
yeah.
If your entire existence is nothing but post about the political live stream, and someone said because people like you and I who don't align or care about politics, we're so privileged that we can not have to worry about it. I mean, I guess I'm privileged because I think both political systems are fucking stupid. That makes me...
Right. What has they... And I feel like I might have shared that post with you, but like, what is the difference if like... I think I remember like I posted something about there was a vote going on like 4 years ago, and I'm like, what has changed? Not a freaking thing. The same thing. And I didn't even vote, and it's still the same outcome. People are still mad. It's like nobody's cured cancer. Our taxes, still gone up. What is the difference? Where's the positives?
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like, at the end of the day, these people get elected and they're not doing what they're supposed to be getting. Like, when people go and vote for someone, and let's say you're a House of Representatives or your Senate or anything like that, if you're actually believing in the system and you're actually voting for these people because you think they're going to go out there and do what they say, here's what the truth of the matter comes out to be. They only worry about the next election. They're going to make all these campaign promises. They're going to tell you that they're going to do this, they're going to do that. Once they get into politics, they realize that everything that they said they're going to do, they can't actually fucking do because there's too many other people that have come out there and they're wanting to tell you exactly like this is what you got to do. And you get the money brought into the people, and it just goes on and on and on and on and on. Basically, the point is they have to worry about the next election because they want to have their insurance. They want to have their money. They want to have, they have to have that lifestyle. How does someone come into the thing completely poor as shit and then the next thing they're millionaires? Where's that money coming from? Because if you look at their federal accounts or whatever where they get paid, they don't make that kind of money. So where's all these millions of dollars coming from? Where's that get funneled into them at? But again, that is the system. The two-party system, the whole capitalist system. Like, I'm not saying be a socialist or a communist or any of that other crap. I'm just saying the way everything has been built is literally for the people in power to stay in power and the people like you and I to not have any sort of say in the matter. We're the worker ants. They are the queens. And that's just how society is.
As Amber had said, you can't make people happy. And that's what I'm saying. Like, you got these people arguing because you don't care about politics. This is your fault. So now you're like, shaming other people because your life is miserable. I think that's really what it is. It's you can't make anybody happy, so they're just going to deflect on you.
People are ashamed.
I'm happy.
People are ashamed and have guilt tripped me and said I'm a bootlicker because I'm a white person. Isn't that racist?
Sure, yeah.
Like, someone said you can't be racist to a white person. I was like, okay. Like, because we're privileged. Now, granted, everyone that says this stuff is a white person.
Yeah.
It's white people hating white people because they feel guilty because they're white.
That just sounds funny.
It's stupid, to be 100% honest. Like, I can't help it with the fact of what my skin pigmentation is. Little can you or anyone else. Like, if you're judging someone because of the color of their skin, then you have a problem in general. someone made a comment the other day, and I was like, that is really racist, and they're trying to blame other people for being racist, but what they just did is racist.
Yeah.
They were lecturing people for using big words because minorities typically don't go to school and everything else, so they can't read the way that we can read and stuff. So we need to really think about how we type things out, how we say things, because that's being racist and disrespectful to the people that don't know how to read. So ways you just claim that all minorities are stupid and they can't read because someone used a big word that they wouldn't know. So you basically just made it sound like everyone is dumb because they're not white. Way to go, you idiot. Like, people are dumb. They don't get it.
You know what I said about people like using that word bootlicker so freely, but then they go around and do their taxes. It's like, what happens if you don't do your taxes? You may go to jail. So everybody has to comply, whether or not what they're calling people. These terms are very strange when you have to basically be a bootlicker too. We're all bootlicker shitheads.
I want to see
matter.
the people that call everyone bootlickers and comply with the government, this and that. I want to see if they've ever received any sort of government assistance. Isn't that considered a handout? Do you get SNAP? Did you get WIC when you had a baby? Do you get benefits? Do you pay Social Security? Here's what's funny. Social Security says it in the name. That is a very socialist thing of paying someone. But you can't bring that up to people that are so far on the right because they're saying you can't have any sort of socialisms. Well, you already do. Like, that's already one of those things. Do people get Medicaid, Medicare? That's government provided health care. That's what I said. It's stupid in this. It's selective outrage of what pisses people off because we already have the systems in place. They already have the things there. It just depends on who's in charge of who we want to yell at. And that's all it boils down to. The last 10 years, there's been so much more political hatred because of an orange person's been in charge. And it's just because of him. The 4 years that he wasn't in office, didn't you float around on like clouds and everything else? Everything was hunky-dory. Everyone was holding hands and singing Kumbaya. The world was at peace. Remember that? I do. The fuck?
I
don't know.
I don't remember if it was really peaceful. It was really stupid. Like,
I'm being sarcastic. Like,
I know, but like,
people act like the whole world has gone to shit. The world has been going to hell in a handbasket a long time before he ever stepped foot in the door. I'm not saying he's made it better.
And they like to blame and they like to bring the previous person forward anyway.
Yeah, everything that's gone wrong right now is so and so's fault. Yeah,
and then we're just trying to fix the mess. I'm like, we're supposed to be a superpower country, and we're just still like struggling.
Yeah. So I see very much information that gets spread around that's not true, and it's done to make people angry with one another. We talked about the one a little bit ago, but I seen something also that just, I was like, cannot be true. It wasn't. Why are people are they even real people at this point? Or are they all just bots? Like, people are fighting about AI. People are fighting about politics. I see all these stupid. I honestly have interviews with people set up for my other show that I don't even want to interview because their entire existence is nothing but political hatred, and I don't want anything to do with that. Like, if you're that much of a miserable person, I want to talk about aliens. I want to talk about cryptids. I want to talk about stuff, but your entire existence is, I hate Trump. I don't want to talk about you. I don't want to hear about it. Or I don't want to hear about how godly the orange guy is. I don't care. But why is everyone so hell-bent on that? Like, why have we become a society that's so hell-bent on worshiping or hating someone that we have no say in the matter against? And I think that's what it boils down to, is everyone's afraid because they feel like they have no control. I think they just finally realized that.
That's a good point there. I mean, we've always known that, but I feel like obviously you and I, we have the same beliefs for not knowing each other that long. And then there's other people that meet that are very similar. And it's like they all see it. It's just everybody else caught on late all of a sudden. And like you said, it seemed like everybody seemed to be more political lately because of all this. When before they just let it happen.
I think that they actually thought that people cared. And I think that the realization is that it didn't matter and things are being done regardless of how people think, feel, or care. And they're just now waking up to it. They've realized that the hunky dory lifestyle was never happened. The American dream has not been a dream for a lot of
Right.
people. Like it's been the American nightmare at this rate.
So I got a question, and where do you think? Okay, when people get involved in politics, where do you think that starts? Where does that come from exactly? Is it from school? Like they teach you this thing, and then all of a sudden you're like, "Oh, Democrat." You know what I mean? Like, is that where it comes from? Because I think my problem is I didn't pay attention in school very well, and I watched cartoons that I didn't even bother with. Like, I knew what political things were, but I didn't care. And like, I feel like either it's indoctrination from like all over, I guess. Like from maybe their parents had felt that way to pass it on to them, and that's why they. You know, where does this start? Where is the origin? Is it school?
So here's, I don't know what the 2020 plan or the 2060 plan actually is. I've seen stuff about the 2030 plan, but I don't know what 2060 is.
It's something you learn to pass high school tests. So well, Amber thinks, yeah, it's from school then, which is that how everybody learned? Because there's never a consensus like, hey, everybody, where did you feel compelled to learn about politics and what side you should be on?
School doesn't even teach kids anything relevant to actually like for use in modern day life.
I just remember all that bullshit, like we said on the podcast. Remember like the Boston Tea Party and all this other crap. The British are coming, and it's like, how does this apply to me? Because you should know your forefathers have done all this, man. I don't even know if they're real anymore because of the way things are right now. I think they're quote rolling in their graves, or that's just for me to think there's a hero out there that
the country was built
and
on the fact that they didn't want to have to pay taxes, but yet the entire country runs now on the fact that we pay taxes, and other countries run on the fact that they get paid by our government from our taxes. Why are we paying other countries? Because I don't understand that at all. Like, why does our tax money have to go to other countries? I've seen no explanation for that, and yet the thing here's the thing: they were supposed to get rid of the Department of Education, but what they do? They just refunded it again, more billions of dollars. So everything that gets promised about they're going to get rid of, they don't get rid of it. They just say these things, and they keep doing the same shit that they do every single time. They just give you false hopes, false promises, and just keep the agenda rolling because at the end of the day, it's on to the next election.
They're afraid the truth is coming. It's like you said.
I don't know. I don't want to sound like we're the know-it-all because if you go throughout history, that's been another thing that people are always said that they know more. We're woke in the sense that we're aware of all the stuff that goes on. It's happened before, blah, blah, blah.
Huh?
I'm not saying I'm a woke in the sense that now the word woke is used, but I think I've been more quote-unquote awake for 20-something years because I've never trusted the government.
Sam.
So I don't know. When I seen planes crashing into buildings and other buildings collapsing that never had a plane hit them and everything else, when I was like 17 years old, I kind of decided that, that seemed a little sus to me.
You forgot the part when they instantly knew things within a day.
Right.
It's like almost like TV CSI. Like, man, it's like on TV they like have the best detectives out there, and like they just found all the clues quickly. It's like, how did they know? You know what I mean? It was very suspicious.
A plane that completely disintegrates when it hits the Pentagon and leaves no traces of a plane in any of the visuals at all. Like you just see a hole in the building, but nothing left, no tail, no anything. Apparently, I can't talk about that because my mic cut out when I started to say it. It means Big Brother's listening.
Well, the thing is, like, I like that people caught on. You see, like, those posts about all the attacks that happened, and a lot of people in the comment section are like, this didn't happen.
Right.
Blah, blah, blah. Like, it's cool. It's refreshing to see that, but what if it's AI? But I'm just saying, like, it's refreshing to see so many people have noticed that. Like,
well, I've noticed, too, like we were mentioned earlier, like, people are saying things that they don't agree with as AI now.
Well, this was before AI. You still see those comments about the attacks.
Like the things that are happening nowadays, everyone's like, that's not even true. That's AI. Well, okay. It could be. At this rate, I think we're all AI. We're probably all in a simulation, but that's just
Probably.
we're the few people that aren't NPCs.
I'm a wheelchair. I'm a guy in a wheelchair that'll have wings the moment I leave this room.
You remember when you posted that picture being in the wheelchair and everyone thought you got hurt?
Oh yeah. I should put that as my profile picture.
What happened to you? Slipped on some ice.
Right. And like another segue into things you say is like you feel like every time there's an election, it's just like Christmas. It's like Santa, believing in Santa.
Yeah.
Like you get this wish and then you think it's going to come, which I don't know if we should talk about it. I wanted to talk about how much Christmas is a scam, which was segued. So it's a new year, right? As I say, we're a lot brokered, a lot fatter because somewhere, they decided to become this empire of consumerism about Christmas. Like literally, there's buy, the Grinch, little products with Santa Claus and cookies and candies. And I'm like, what is the point of this holiday? I think it's a terrible holiday. I'm sorry. It's a stupid holiday. Like I get getting with your family and I like that part. I mean, why does this have to be then though? Why can't it be like more times a year? I mean, her family does. We do get together a lot of times in the year, but why is this holiday so greedy to me? It's just, it feels disgusting.
It's a
When you get
pagan
older, you're
holiday
like-
that they converted into a Christian holiday.
How's this Christianity though? You got to buy things.
I don't
You don't have to.
The whole St. Nicholas thing, which was supposedly a true story, but again, who really knows, was some guy that went around and gave kids presents, and that's how the whole Santa Claus theory came about. But
It's become more than that.
It's
though.
been marketed by Coca-Cola. That is where the whole modern Santa Claus Christmas thing came from, was Coca-Cola in the 1930s.
Oh, things were crazy in the 30s, so I don't know why that should apply now. And you ever notice like a lot of the Christmas songs are really old ones, like Rudolph the or got like Bing Crosby, like Santa, like there's no like modern songs like that, and if they are, they're really bad. But why does people play old songs from back in the day? You have like the orchestra playing and everything.
Because that's what people remember for Christmas, and that's what they want, the old-timey stuff, when people actually cared about Christmas, when it was actually about having time off.
But was it though? Like I wasn't around then.
I mean, I would like to think that, yeah, Christmas kind of was that way, because I've talked to older people that have talked about how things were nice back in those days. But now we live in a society up until the Beast era, which maybe that was one of the good things that came from the Beast era, but also one of the disappointing things is that we used to go out to stores because Walmart used to be open 24/7. So people used to have to work on Christmas because they didn't get those holidays off. Same with like Thanksgiving. You remember when Black Friday used to start on Thanksgiving at like 6 p.m. at night, so you didn't even get to spend time with your family because you're out there fighting someone over a TV set?
I think that died down though. There's like no more fights anymore.
There's
like
not.
This year, it's kind of good. That's a good thing that went away.
That's what I said.
Great.
Like that's the one thing that the Beast got rid of, was people fighting amongst themselves over consumerism, in the sense that everyone had to get everything, and now they're blaming it on Amazon and ordering stuff online. That's killing all the big businesses. That's why malls are closing. That's why this and that. Like, oh, so you mean to tell me that the mom and pop stores here in local towns that got closed out by the big corporations, now the big corporations are feeling it because of Amazon?
Right.
The cycle repeats.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what I'm saying. It's just consumerism, and it's just gross. Like all of it. Like, and you said like old folks liked it because it was nicer back in the yeah, because they didn't have to buy all these dumb gifts and like movies and like you imagine how many millions of products there are based on Christmas. I feel like it's an evil holiday. I won't lie. I feel like there's something wrong with it.
Well,
It's not magic. I know that.
here's
Dark magic.
here's a conspiracy we'll throw out there in the ether. How do you can't spell Santa without Satan?
Oh yeah.
So think about that when you're going out there putting up your decorations this year for Christmas. You can't spell Santa
But
without Satan.
but it's also like, well, if you're like Christian and not about that, then it's about the birth of Jesus, and so it's kind of strange how it's almost like it got the duality. Because I grew up Catholic, and my grandma would just be like, we'd go to church because Christ was born, and then in my little head, I thought Christ was born every year, and it's like, man, it was like a cycle the whole year. He died at Easter, and then he's born again. My little head didn't understand this, and then
And
there's
why is
Santa
Easter
Claus.
never the same?
Easter never the same?
Easter's never on the same date. Like December 25th is Christmas, but Easter is never on the same date.
Because nobody wants to I mean, if we live in a strange world, nobody wants to claim a religious holiday and put it on there. That's why Christmas is what it is. It's not a
Christmas was
religious
based
holiday.
off of the winter solstice.
Mm.
And the sun dies on December 21st. And it stays down there for 3 days because that's the 3 darkest days of the year. So the sun dies on the cross, which is one of the constellations in the sky. And then on the 25th, it starts to be a little bit longer. The days start to get longer. So the sun is rising. So the sun is born.
Mm.
It's all about the solstices, but that's a topic that a lot of religious people do not want to hear. And I could completely go down there some other time, but I have a feeling a lot of people will get upset with me. But that's
Can't make people happy, as
I know,
Amber
but
says, as the theme.
that is the thesis of where I come from, is to question everything, because I don't believe everything that gets put out there. And I had this conversation earlier with my children. The story of Adam and Eve. Eve ate the apple, but you never hear about Adam's first wife, do you? Do you know Adam's first wife? Do you know he had a first wife?
I guess. I don't know.
Lilith.
Oh, yeah. Wasn't she evil? 'Cause of that
Yeah,
name?
she was
Yeah.
the demon queen because she was evil. So then she was killed and banished and everything else. And now they made Eve, and then Eve didn't listen to God, and then she ate the apple, and now look where we're at. Thanks, lady.
So you're saying women are evil since the beginning of time?
That's what if you go down the reason of
Sorry, Amber.
if you follow the Bible, that is literally like how it has actually kind of been presented, is women are the reason that we are here in the way that we are, because both of times they didn't follow God's instructions.
Mm.
And then there's also things in the Bible that a lot of people don't want to point to, but I will, because a lot of people cherry pick things here and there out of the Bible. Well, you also need to remember that in the Bible, it says it's okay to stone a woman to death because she looked at another man.
Right.
So you can't say the Bible says one thing and then cherry pick it because you want to go with what this is saying, but you're not following it word for word over here. Well, that's a different time. That was a different. No, we don't get to play cherry pick games. Like, if you're going to follow the Bible, you need to follow it all the way wrong. So if I see my wife looking at another man, I'm going to take this big boulder over here and apparently just bash her head in because she happened to glance at another guy.
You have powers then.
Yeah.
If you pick up a boulder. Amber says it was grandparents would vote civic duty. Of course it would be. They had no choice because they didn't have the media or the internet. Derek says hi.
Yes.
Have you guys seen They Live? That is a documentary. No, They Live's awesome. I think we brought that up last week, right?
It was one of the episodes. Yes. We have seen They Live. That is literally one of those movies that I think was probably a movie that was a little bit ahead of its time, in the sense that they were like, hey, this is what really goes on in the world, but we don't want you to know it. And then it was only in theaters for a couple weeks, and then they pulled it off the theaters because the producers didn't like how it was going. I think John Carpenter was just like, hey, here's a look at what really goes on behind the scenes.
Dude, I feel like I've like said it before. A lot of John Carpenter movies I think they're like documentaries in themselves. I mean, you got look at Vampires, which is like underrated. Like a guy killing vampires for the Vatican, but then the Vatican actually needs to use them, and it's like, how would the Vatican fund that? That's strange. Like,
the Vatican funds a lot of things.
Kind of strange. Well, the only one that I couldn't understand was Big Trouble in Little China. I don't know how that relates to us.
It's been so long since I've seen that movie.
It's still it holds up. I just don't know how that would, in my theory of documentaries, I don't know how Big
What
Trouble
about
in Little
Escape
China.
from New York or Escape from Los Angeles?
Oh, those are
Those are Carpenter's.
Escape from New York was pretty wild. Also, I have to. Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of strange things, and the thing about people being
Assimilated.
simulated and basically like they're not the real person.
That is one of my favorite science fiction movies.
It's one of the best ever. It really is like one of the best horror films of all time for what it was.
The ending is very controversial to a lot of people. And did you know they made a PlayStation game about it?
I had it. I just forgot what happened.
So canonically, I don't ever pronounce the word canonically, whatever. That game is the official sequel. So a lot of people debate on who was the alien at the end of the movie. Was it McGrady or Chives? Was that his name?
Childs,
yeah.
Childs
and McGrady. Which one was the alien? Well, if you follow the game, spoiler alert, so stop listening if you don't want to be spoiled. Okay. Neither were the alien.
That's what I thought.
Childs froze to death and McGrady was rescued. So yeah. Neither one were really the alien. And there's been debates about Childs being the alien.
Well, he drank the liquor. They both did. Well, supposedly, like one of them fake drinking it, but the alien wouldn't drink the liquor if it cared about protecting itself, because obviously booze is not good.
Well, the alien wouldn't even know what booze would have been. And the theory is that it wasn't even booze, it was gasoline, because he was using it to set fires. So the alien drank the gasoline.
Oh, yeah. I think I heard that one too. Okay.
But I'm just saying, they said that he didn't have the earring in his ear. Childs had an earring, and at the end of the thing, he didn't have an earring.
I wonder, though, it could have been like a terrible continuity. Is that what you call it?
Continuation.
Continuality. Forget to put something in or hold it in the right hand.
Yeah. Continuity. I don't know.
Right, but I'm just saying, what if the actor forgot to put his earring? You know what I mean? It's always one of those little things that it could screw up. And it's hard to make a movie because you literally have to, like, let's say I'm holding this, cut, and then I put it down, and then I would assume I'd be smart enough to put it in the same hand, and some people screw up, and
right.
You know what I mean? Like, I wonder if it's continued. I can't talk today. Whatever.
I had to go and get filmed for a documentary, not the one that I'm doing, but a different company's doing a documentary. And this past weekend, I had to go, and I've never been to an official film set type thing, and it was kind of weird just because of the cameras and the lighting. And I was kind of like just thinking about it. I was like, am I going to look stupid? Like, I don't know.
We all do on camera. So, it's fine.
Because it was all done in one take, there was no like redoing things. But then I had to walk in and walk out, and they had to film it. So that was not real. And then I hope it makes if they ever do a blooper reel, I got hung up on the door because I'm a giant. So my coat got stuck in the door. So I tried to walk through and I got hung. I got pulled backwards. Like, oh, we'll edit that out. It's like, I would leave it in the bloopers. So yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Do you think, though, when I said earlier, I was just ranting, but do you really think a lot of people have changed for the worst? Like, they're never going to come back from the isolation, that whole, I mean, aside from like I said, how you feel about the beast needle or not, or if they got it or not, but do you think people are doomed from that because they are mentally scarred from it?
Yes.
Do you know anybody personally that has been affected that way?
I can't say that has affected them, but I do know that people, I'm going to blame this on technology and social media. I think even what we're doing right now, we are speaking out into space in the ether and everything else. We have been given the opportunity to voice our opinions and to talk about what we think about. That ability has been given to so many other people. And a lot of us probably didn't deserve to have that opportunity. because all we've done is projected some sort of hatred, negativity out into the world, and it has festered and has grown, and we have literally done nothing good for society. Social media and all of this stuff has given a platform for people to voice their displeasure with life. I think the reason that it seems like there's so many more people miserable because a lot more people have the opportunity to complain.
Well, I thought maybe. Well, I mean, there's that, but there's also what if they're just scared and that's their projection is they're just scared.
I think they are scared. And that's what I was getting to earlier is I think a lot of
Yeah.
the stuff that people are talking about nowadays and they're just afraid that they've learned, they're starting to wake up that they have no control of their life. And that terrifies people. They used to think that they had a thought process to where they could actually have some sort of say in the matter. They got to choose what they did in life. They got to choose what they got to do, what they could say. And now they realize that their voice doesn't matter. So they project that voice even stronger to try and make sure it gets heard because they want to be heard because they're afraid that they don't matter. The truth of the matter is none of us matter. And that's the wake up call that they're not willing to accept because they're afraid to accept the fact that we all are just the same. As much as everyone wants to hate one another, we're all the same. We're all in the same shit show together.
Or as much as everybody thinks they're special. You know what I mean? Put the glasses on. That's all I could say. Put the glasses on.
Sometimes the glasses can help. Other times I think it would make people even worse.
I kind of wonder if, like, in a parallel universe, if those glasses got handed out in the movie, how people would truly react. I mean, they all freaked out when they saw the weird looking people, which is funny they made them look that way, but I think, again, you could make them look like lizards because then they'd really catch on. But, like, you know what I mean? Like, I wonder if, like, too bad that I'm not saying that movie deserves a sequel because it kind of does, but I don't want it how they bastardize it because every sequel nowadays is fucking stupid. Well, I'll take that back. I watched the new Naked Gun movie and I actually laughed my ass off, which is like, okay, they got it right. I was shocked. Anyway,
I want to know why my mouse is moving by itself.
your mouse.
My mouse icon on my screen is moving by itself.
Your battery going low?
Richard Bridgers is going to personally cancel us tonight. Thanks, buddy.
Wait, where do you see that?
Right there.
I will personally be canceling you guys later tonight. Oh, he's being funny.
Yeah.
I hope. Thank you, Richard. Richard Bridger. I like it. I was isolated before it was required. I love being. You know what, Amber? Like a lot of people did like that because that didn't affect you. You liked. I should say you liked being isolated. You liked being away from people, and that wouldn't affect you any. But I'm talking about like the other people that at one point were the social, and now they don't want to be. They just hate people, and it's like you got all these people, other people that like they hate being around people, yet they care about people. So what is it? Like, again, are they afraid of truly finding out that they're not as special as they think they are, or they don't really care about people and they're actually deeply selfish? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We don't really know. I'm social just selectively. Same. Sometimes I don't want to, people drain you.
The one thing that I want to touch base on before we get canceled, do you remember how certain people were screaming at the top of their lungs at everyone else, stay home, comply?
Yeah, that.
Now, if you comply, you're a bootlicker. Where did the narrative get changed? Like, they claim we were in a fucking global pandemic and we were not allowed to see our family dying in a hospital because that was bad. When my son was born, I had to be in a room alienated away from everyone else because no one could come see my kid because, you know, that was the bad times that we couldn't talk about. And then if you didn't go and get jabbed, you were going to kill everyone. You would be dead. I'm not dead yet. I don't think everyone that should be dead at this point is not dead yet. But yet we were being called murderers. We were being told that by not doing this, we were causing the problems. We are the reason this is going on. We were getting blamed for so much stuff. Now, all of a sudden, people like us are the ones that are complying, supposedly, because just do what your government tells you to do and you won't get shot. Well, I don't fuck with the government in the first place. So I didn't comply then and I don't comply now. I don't bother with it. I just do what I do. And that's where the struggle comes from for people like me, is because, again, we get blamed by either side. So right now, the people that we talked about this a little bit ago, I think, people that don't follow politics or don't care about politics, we're too privileged for that. So again, I'm getting blamed because I don't care about politics. Because it doesn't affect me.
Right.
Because I'm so privileged. When you project that sort of negativity at someone, you were the reason why there's an orange person in charge of the country at the second. You know what I mean? It's because of people's ideologies like that is why the other sides completely go the complete opposite way, because they get tired of listening to everyone else's bullshit. So that is the reason why we deal with the stuff we want to do, or have to deal with the crap that goes on, because everyone else puts that evil out in the world against everybody else. And everyone gets tired of hearing it after a while. So then we get put in the situations that we're in right now. So I blame every single person that acts that way and blames other people and fights with everyone else for the reason we are the way we are, because that is their fault for treating everyone else like dog shit.
Yeah, like those same people that condemned you are the same ones turning around. It's literally like a flip personality. I've watched it.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, this is your fault. We're gonna die from this disease. And now it's like,
yes,
they flipped. And like, I literally see it, and I don't know why they not see that. I'm like, that's fucking weird. That is.
I had to drive
strange.
around with papers to tell everyone that I was a important person and I was allowed to be out on the road.
Mm.
Nowadays, you have to have your papers, otherwise you're going to get deported. But again, 5 years ago, we had to comply or die. Nowadays, it's comply or die. It's not, the story's different. The people in charge are different, but at the same time, it's not different. It's all part of the same shit show that we've all been dealing with. But for some reason, we're all against each other.
Yeah. Richard says, dude, mass federal agents going around checking papers, literally an American nightmare from, why is it an American nightmare? They're not coming to get you. They're coming after like me.
What he's saying
But
is, that's why he's saying that 5 years ago we had to have our paperwork saying we're allowed to be out on the road.
Oh, I thought you meant like immigration papers. Sorry, man.
No.
I can't read. I'm Mexican. Derek says it's a form of self-regulation. Of course it is.
Richard used big words, and apparently if you use big words, that means you're privileged.
I couldn't understand.
Ed can't understand because he's a minority. So how dare you? You must be white, Richard.
Is there a translation button here on this StreamYard?
He said he's 45 minutes late, so if you're missing that context, someone said that white people use big words, and that's racist because most minorities don't know how to read because they don't have the privilege to go to schools like white people do, so therefore using
I just
big
proved
words
that
is racist. You went to school, though, didn't you?
I've somehow sort of graduated.
Yeah.
I posted to, actually speaking of, I posted today like how, you know, my huge thing about I hate Ticketmaster and Live Nation, right? And it's funny how like most of these big stars like Pink and shit I don't like, you know, pop stars, you know, they're all against the Orange Man. You just stand up to them, but it's like, how come you're not standing up to Ticketmaster and Live Nation? Oh wait, because you're greedy. You still want to charge people $300 to see your fucking concerts, huh? You're a part of the problem, and you could probably change it, maybe. But we got to stand up against that guy. But
Why do
it's
we
expensive to go to a fucking concert. It makes me mad. Sorry, I start getting mad.
You use that big word again? I don't even know what that one means.
The juxtaposition of this podcast is hilarious. That means we flip flop.
Yeah. This is the ADD podcast, like, or ADHD podcast. There is no direct.
Yeah, we don't have a script, so we just kind of keep kind of going back and forth about shit. We're probably repeating ourselves with every episode, but I did rant about Christmas, which I don't know. People out there, how do you feel about Christmas? I mean, some people love it. I would generally like your opinion if you think it's just a disgusting holiday as it is, and it's not exactly what it should be.
You can't spell Santa without Satan.
Well, I don't know if it's that evil, but I do feel like a poor, fatter piece of shit because I ate a bunch of crap I didn't eat, and I wasted a lot of money on things that probably won't last for a couple months. I mean, like, okay, Brandon, you have kids, right? Obviously, you talk about them. So what if next year you said, I don't want to do Christmas this year? How would that go? How would that go down?
I wouldn't do that to my children because I enjoy seeing their faces of opening presents, the happiness. My wallet would tell me to stop spending money on presents, but I just see it as if I can. Here's the thing. I don't see why we have to have one special day just to give people presents. And I've kind of been that way about when I want stuff, I just get it. And I've always kind of been that way with my kids too. But I understand the concept because I think we grew up in it. So it's just one of those traditional things. But the idea of Santa Claus, I've always been said to, I didn't want to deal with Santa Claus in the sense of that because I feel like it's very disappointing to lie to your children. They give them all this false hope. Maybe that is preparing them for later on in life. That's the point of Christmas, for giving them.
That's why you stop it now. You'd be like, look, this is the deal. Daddy doesn't want to spend money on things you'll keep for like 3 months.
No, I'm
like, why don't we go to Applebee's and like have a nice time?
It's giving them false hope to think that there's some greater mysterious person out there brings them all these presents and all the things in life are great. And then you tell them the truth and they get completely disappointed in the fact that you've lied to them. And that sets them up for the rest of their life of being lied to.
Richard here has a different take. So I was raised, he was raised in religion and it was taught holidays were evil. Now that he's an adult, Christmas and most of the other holidays are awesome. I never looked at it that way, actually. I mean, that does make sense. It's like kind of like when kids can't have Halloween because it's evil, and then they actually go and like dress up and have a good time. It's like, what? I get candy for looking this way? That's cool. Like, that's a different take, I guess. I never thought about that.
I think holidays have its purposes for people.
So
just like Thanksgiving, like no one else celebrates Thanksgiving or the 4th of July or whatever, but we use it as a way to get together with our families. I mean,
Amber says it is fun. I like malls at Christmas. Well, you know what? I kind of like the lights and the whole. It's almost like you're dressing up your house like Halloween. Like I like that part, right? I don't know what it is about like. Well, she likes to do it. She'll put lights out and dress up the house, and it looks festive and fun. But I think it's more like the commercial consumerism I don't like. And I had made a post about how like. all the socks in McDonald's were running out of Grinch socks. Or I should say McDonald's was selling those Grinch socks and they were selling out. And I'm like, this is not what the Grinch stood for. He hated commercialism. Here you're buying all the socks. And they were out of fries when I went because you get like Grinch fries, some shit. I'm like, what is up? What is going on here? I don't know. I find that funny. Just that whole thing sounded greedy, but that's McDonald's for you. Human meat.
We used to be told it was kangaroo meat. When I was a kid, I would never eat the McDonald's hamburger because I thought they were kangaroo.
That's some good ass fucking kangaroo, I tell you what. Amber likes baking and decorating.
I don't.
Yeah, I mean, that's fun too.
I don't like McDonald's, to be 100% honest. I know I'm not American by saying that, but I don't like it. It's one of my least favorite fast foods. If I have a choice between anything else and McDonald's, I'm going to probably go to something else.
The fact that we celebrate it as a society is pretty awesome. Helps create community.
It does, unless you offend someone because they don't believe in Christmas, and then they tell you that you're evil because
Sorry. Yeah, these are good answers, though. I just don't like the commercialism part of it. I like the family part.
You know what
Sometimes-
commercialism, we talked about this last week, but we'll bring him up again. Mr. George A. Romero, when he made Dawn of the Dead, it was an anti-commercialist movie, the original Dawn of the Dead. Remember it was in the mall?
Oh yeah, the mall. He was just making fun of how, which is basically that pertains to now too, in a way.
Yeah.
Only we're doing this.
We're all the zombies.
Where are the zombies?
No.
Damn. He was ahead of his time, even though he didn't write that. Did he write that one?
Yeah, he wrote them all, I thought.
He wrote them all. No, he. That's true. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. They were all, even Diary of the Dead was about our voyeurism of how we became like so obsessed with like online shit and the phones and everything else.
I've never seen that one. I think I watched half of it. I'm like, I don't like this.
No, the first three were his best.
Land of the Dead was okay.
It just didn't feel like a Romero movie.
Oh no.
I liked Land of the Dead as a zombie movie, but it didn't feel like one of the Romero movies.
It had like John Leguizamo, and every time he's in a movie, I kind of cringe.
Speaking of Mr. Leguizamo,
Oh yeah.
he doesn't want anyone to be his fan anymore if you're not wanting to deport ICE. Here's my thing, and I know the liberals out here that listen, if they do listen, this is not to offend anyone, but you realize that ICE was been around for 20 something years and they've been doing the same exact job. It's just now being politicized because of the orange tyrant that's apparently making things go on. Yeah. I don't know.
Do you think when you said that, like, I don't want to offend liberals if they're here, but do they believe in cryptids? Because I don't know if they could. Could they?
A lot of them do, and a lot of them are artists.
Okay, just making sure. I didn't know if like
when I go to these events, there are so
I feel
many
like some people don't. Sorry,
cryptids is like almost like a hipster trendy thing for some reason.
Is it?
Yeah, a lot of the people that do artwork and all sorts of stuff like that, they're all anti-AI and they do like paintings and all. They're like very into cryptids, and I've noticed that like cryptids is a popular thing amongst like the hipster communities for some reason, especially Mothman.
I never knew that. I just thought like it was his own thing, and then some people don't like. People like to grasp reality.
Most people think of cryptids, they think of redneck hillbilly inbreds for some reason because that's
Well,
like
I was going to get to
stereotype.
that too, but no, like it's just it's its own community. It's like I wouldn't say it's untainted because you have your own kind of drama from other things.
Oh, it's
with
very
that,
tainted.
But like I'm talking about the idea of to escape and try to believe into something because reality can be really stupid. But man, if there's something watching me through the window and it's like, what is that? You know what I mean? Like, takes me out of this normal headspace, this routine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're getting close to the hour markings, so we will probably end this one here. But I want to say for everyone out there that is listening, that's in the audience right now, we will be back just like we are this week. But for anyone listening on the audio, so if you're listening on Apple or Spotify or whatever, this is the last one that I'm going to upload on the Tinfoil Tells podcast stream. So if you would like to continue to listen to Ed and I babble into the ether, you will have to find Tinfoil Tells, or you'll have to find Seems Sus on its own podcast. So that means you'll need to go into Apple or Spotify or wherever you listen to podcasts at and type in Seems Sus and subscribe. And then the new episodes will be on there starting next week. I've already uploaded the other ones that we've already released on there. This will be up there tomorrow, but I will release this too on the Tinfoil Tell stream. So if you're listening, this is the last one. You will hear it. But I want to say thanks for everyone that's been on here commenting tonight. We've been doing this consistently. We've been getting more and more people chiming in, so I definitely appreciate that.
Yeah.
Again, next Thursday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we will be back again. If there is a specific topic that you guys would like for us to complain about, let us know. And we will do our best. Someone said they wanted us to talk about the Black-Eyed Kids. Do you know anything about Black Eyed Kids?
The band?
No. It is a sort of a paranormal cryptid thing, not the Black Eyed Peas.
I've never heard of that.
So
Are they like,
I will pull up information, and next week we will take a dive into the Black Eyed Kids. If I know a little bit about them, not much. I haven't looked a whole lot into it, but they're supposed to be like evil children. So for anyone out there listening, if you want to hear about the Black Eyed Children, we will talk about that next week. But for now, thanks for listening. Thanks to Ed. Thanks for everyone in the chat. If you would like to join us next week, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Thursday night. Again, find Seems Sus on your favorite podcast listening app, and we will be